teacher editions. Teacher editions look a little different than what you might be used to. It is going to show all the teacher editions. A couple ways you can sort. If it's a world language course, if it's a career elective, you can use our filters. I prefer just to use the embedded feature within Google. Anybody ever heard of how to search within a page within a browser? There's a keyboard shortcut, Control F, that will let you search. Yeah, I have a feeling Runaway Teacher, Chris, person with the big TV would know that. So you can search, and then you can just search for your keyword like algebra. I think that makes it a lot easier. At least you get exactly where you need to be. You might have quite a few variations of algebra. In this case, I've got 35. But let's say I wanted to go into Algebra 1 Honors. I can go ahead and look at the teacher edition by clicking on the title. You are welcome to go in and click on any course you want. From here, you have a very similar view of what the students have. Remember, we showed you the students have, a lesson and some instructional pieces. Well, this follows the exact same order that the student goes through. Now, they have to go in order, and they can't skip around. You can come in and you can click any area to kind of get more information about the topic. The guided notes are also stored here as well. So this is how you know if the course has guided notes or not. As you can see, the first unit here, first lesson, has guided notes available. The paper and pencil icon lets you know that you have both a teacher edition and a student edition. So on the left-hand side, the topic is quantitative reasoning in my example. I've got the guided notes. Again, you don't have to give this to the students. They have it on their lessons already. But you can see the Planck version, and you can see the teacher version. And it's not graded. If you would like to make it an additional activity category, you can. And then you can start grading it. Credit, no credit, maybe. You can come in and look at any of the instructional videos. We've got warm-up, instruction, and summary. Those three, that's the full package of the instructional video. So it's very similar to a teacher with the anticipatory set, connecting to prior knowledge. The instruction is all the new skills and standards, new information. Summary is that closing, wrapping it up. This assignment here is auto-graded. If you ever want to go take a look at the activity, you can. Just know if you want to share this with the students, it's going to show the answers for you. So I recommend if you are going to share this, like maybe in a Zoom session, copy and paste and maybe cover over the answers. Quizzes do come from a pool of questions. So you don't know exactly what the students will get beforehand, but you can come in and look at the quiz to see what types of questions they'll get. All quizzes are 10 questions. I'm going to scroll down to show you where the quiz questions are. And they're coming from this bank of 17 questions. So if the students do take another attempt, It will come from this pool of questions. Do we have a limit on how many retakes we give students before we just move them on? Has that been defined? Is that up to teachers?
We're saying generally 3.
Okay, so they
but it could change.
Yeah, it could change, right? Everything's changeable, right? So automatically, our courses give students in initial credit courses 2 attempts before they have to ask permission to get another retake. So if you do want to give them a 3rd retake, you do get an alert on one of your reports that blocks students from moving forward. And at that point, you can decide you want to pass them with their highest score, or do you want to give them their 3rd attempt? So that's really in the court of the teacher when students are struggling. Okay? So they automatically get 2 attempts. Now, in the credit recovery courses, they typically get 3 because the pre-testing counts as an attempt. So if you want to give them a 4th attempt, because they've got a red alert and they're just not passing it, you can kind of think about what you want to do with that. I don't recommend going anything over 4 because we do see students getting multiple attempts and they usually don't do better. I recommend them earning, maybe showing that they're taking extra notes or they're showing their notes to get the 3rd attempt. Otherwise, they kind of stay in this loop where they do attempts and they don't grow in their scores. All right, well, this area is for you. All the questions that the quiz comes from will populate from these 17 questions. Feel free to use them as study questions. Just don't share the answers. If the students do take another retake, if they never get the correct answer, we just give them what answer they selected so they know that they got their answer wrong. But we don't give them the correct answer. So that could also be a requirement is take the questions that you got wrong, review them, send me an email when you're done, and I'll give you another retake. Okay, from here you also have course documents. So this is the scope and sequence. So it is the written format of all the topics that are in the course. So it does show you a little bit more briefly what's in the unit, the lesson, and what are the goals for that lesson. All right. If there's some kind of performance task or if there's labs in the course, there'll be answer keys. For science courses, there are virtual labs and wet labs. So if you do not need wet labs or you're not requiring wet labs, those do need to be customized to be taken out because the students will see both of those. And it's like they're required both the virtual lab and the wet lab. The wet lab does require resources and supplies. So if that is something, we need to take note that those need to be customized before students are enrolled in them. Do we have any particular?
That is something that we're going to ask our teachers of record to help make those decisions. We may not do all of the wet labs, but there might be some that we are very valuable. We want our students to do so. When the time comes, we may be calling on our teachers of record to help make that decision. But it's still work in progress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So
sorry.
Kim, what's our timeline for when we can actually get hold of the classes we're going to be teachers of record for so that we can go in and start looking at them? I'm going to be setting up a meeting with Keith and Amanda. We set it up for this week, but we haven't put a specific time for that. And we'll go through and make all those final determinations, and then we'll let you know as soon as that happens this week. Okay, so by the end of the week, we should know which ones we need to go and investigate. So yes. You said that you're going to dump kids into it. So there's like, what, 5 or 6 or 7 algebras. Are you going to specify which one we're looking at? We will let you know exactly which course in Edgenuity and what it's called on Aspire, so that you will know what courses and students you are assigned. Okay. Grades. All right, and so you're going to dump in the students, and then I can't remember how to go in and alter content.
I can share that if you'd like me to go into that piece.
Because that's what we're going to be doing as teachers of record, right? So the first piece is us going through the courses, making sure everything's there that we want to be there. And then you're going to be assigning the students to that, right? Yes, basically, but most teachers won't be necessarily customizing it that much. As a math teacher, you might do a little bit more than that than other teachers, but yes, there will be that piece. But for this first year, if something needs to be adjusted, we probably really won't know until the students are in the course, taking the course, and we run into an issue. And we'll have to adjust on the fly on some of these. So, but I think that Shelby's going to be particularly interested in wet labs versus dry labs, and that's something that she's going to look at. Yes, and right. we will coordinate that with the teachers of record once all of those have been assigned. Right, but for the purpose of this training, like the task that we need to know how to do is go in and be able to alter, add, or subtract things from a course. Correct. In case but that's pretty much, as teachers of record, the most you'll interact with the course, yes. And then we also need to understand the grading piece and how to make, how to find the grades, how we're going to import. Are we importing them into Canvas and then into Aspire? Are we going straight to Aspire? Or you're just going to look at them in here in Edgenuity, and you're going to type in the final grade on Aspire. Okay. But we need to also be able to find that in here. Yeah, we'll get to that. I'm sure we'll get to that. Okay.
Yeah, that's the 3rd hour. So
all
it's coming. It's coming. There's a lot for you guys, but it's so important to kind of get it all out now. And then we will review it. We'll kind of piggyback it when we meet again and review anything that we need to review. So I can go over like a 5-minute quick how to customize out a virtual or a wet lab. Is that something that I can do right now?
Let's do that. Okay. Go ahead and do that.
Okay. Another point to note, these courses here don't have to all be visible. So when things are being enrolled and people are coming in to look at the teacher's editions, if you don't want all of this curriculum accessible, you can take some of these and Kim, this might make a little bit more sense to you, but you can archive them because you have a course management school with all the updated versions that house all your offerings. And at any point in time, if you want to archive the course you could, or you can come back to course management school and add it to the Freedom Preparatory Academy School. So if you don't want all, hundreds of courses available, you can archive them so the view is a little bit more simple. Then it's a little less confusing of which course is which. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind if you want to go that route. We have a lot of schools that will just use maybe 100 of the offerings and then archive the other 500. I'm just going to type in biology here. Now we have some that are already been customized with quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just for purposes of today, I'm going to go into the original one, the Utah Biology A, which is semester 1. I'm going to click on the checkbox and click on Customize. Again, customizing a course is an advanced permission. So that is something that the admin can switch for anybody. But usually at the basic teacher level, you can't customize an entire course. You can just customize individual enrollments. All right, so you can come in and customize. You can modify the course without creating a copy, or you can create a copy. It all depends if you want to have 2 copies in the library or not. So let's say I'm going to modify without creating a copy.
Wait, what's the difference between the two?
Yeah, so do you want to keep that original or not? So let me explain back
But
when I
if
go.
you go and you alter the original, is it sort of like a Google Doc where if I'm typing up the Google Doc and then Shelby's like, hey, I want to change that. And she goes in and she changes that. Does that change it for everyone, everywhere?
Yeah. Because you have only one course all the students are funneling into. So this is like your master course. So if somebody goes in and customizes it for the whole entire course, it will change for all the students enrolled. So you can see the student numbers here.
So not just the students at Freedom Prep, it will change it for all students everywhere.
And I have to head out, but we won't be changing any master courses. We were going to create them using
Okay.
FPA as a new name for it.
Okay, so you've already created the FPAs, right? You and Keith?
No, we haven't. So we're going to be meeting and discussing which ones we're going to create.
Got it.
So we will, but they are not created yet.
So these FPA Biology CRQ1s are not ours.
They are, but those are credit recovery. Do you see the CR on them? They
Got
are
it.
ours, but they are
Okay.
credit recovery. And so
Okay.
our regular classes are not created yet.
Okay, got it. All right, so
I can go ahead and share with you the difference.
we would always want to click on make a copy instead of modify the original.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's go to Biology A here. The only reason why you'd want to modify a course is, let's say you have these 4 students and it's showing a lab. You can modify the existing course and then it will take out that lab for those 4 students. So do you want it to happen with those current students, or do you want to create a new course? Kind of have to think of it that way. Do you want those changes to happen for those 4 students that are already in the program? Or do you want to just have a new master course? Okay, so I'm going to go to a Biology A course. This is the initial credit course. So it's got, authentic assessments in there. I'm going to click on that checkbox to the left, and it's going to work with just that one course at a time. Click on Customize, create a new course, unless I want it to affect all the students that are currently in it. The name can be changed here if you're creating a new course. So I'm just going to put trial so I know I can delete it. Now this is enrollable to students, this course, and I'll be sure to delete it. You can come in here and see the different units and start looking for the word labs. Okay, here we go. We've got a lab here. You click on lab. You've got a virtual lab and a wet lab. Click off wet lab, and then that's it. You save it. Okay. So ideally, you'd come in and go to all of the units and lessons and just turn off the labs that you don't want. Maybe they're the wet labs. You can always turn them back on later, even when students are enrolled. And then publish. I'm going to publish it because I'm going to go in there and delete it. And I called it trial at the end. Of course, didn't let me anyways. Kicked me out. Okay, so that's the quick customizing session on how to remove content. Once you save it, you've got your new master course, or you change it for all the students that are in it, depending on if you modify the course or create a new course. If you go to course structures, that's how you find out if you want to keep that curriculum or not. So if you are in here for biology, we're going to look at semester A. It's going to use Control F and look for the word lab here. All right, here we go. We've got our lab, got your virtual lab, and you got your wet lab. If you take a look at the wet lab, you can see what's required of it and see if it's going to work or not. There's a materials list so that you can see if it seems like it's doable or not. Okay. And that was under managed courses. All right. One more item we have to talk about in courses is called managed enrollments. The very first time you log in here, you're going to see again all the students in the school and all their associated courses. So all their enrollments. If again you don't want to see all that information, you can filter here by user group and just select the students that you need to view for. Now remember, I have Tommy. If Tommy has nothing in there, it's not going to show me anything. So I'll take off my user group. Okay, so you guys have a SIS, so a student information system, where students will be automatically added and they will be enrolled in courses before they get started or before you start with them. But you do have to come in here and check to see if the target date has been set. If you're in the program right now and you're in managed enrollments and you don't see start and target date, you want to be sure you're viewing these columns, because this lets you know if the students have a target date that paces out the course between the start and target. Okay. If the target date is the same, that means nobody came in here and changed that target date. That means the student has no idea how much work they should do on a daily basis, weekly basis. So whoever is doing the enrolling typically would change the target date, but I encourage you, if it's not been changed before you have it, to come in and change that target date.
That would be me or Amanda.
All right, are you taking that on? It can be done all at once. We have a bulk button.
I'm already doing it.
So when you select on that bulk button, select all the enrollments, because right now it's only selecting 50. Select all 505. And then if you have the admin permission to change the dates of all the enrollments at once, you can make sure you have the correct start and target date.
Sounds good.
Okay. Let me know if you need help on that.
So
All right.
We're in managing the students, but can that be done on a course level instead of on a student level?
Well, let's take a look here. If we type in the word earth science, let's see if we can do that. Let's copy that into the search bar.
That's a good question, because in the past, my experience has just been setting these up individually due to different starting
My
times.
kid is going to be a nightmare for you.
I know, that's why that's a good question. I can do it in bulk. for
Well,
these new regular
Mhm.
classes.
Here you go. Look, you just type in the course name. And then you in bulk select them all at once and change the target date. If the
That's
start
great.
date, yeah, if the start date's already fine, just pick.
Yay!
I know, right? To win there.
Come on down, Felicity. You can take over this. That was a great question.
It was a great question. She's going to be the side trainer for the next session. All right. Yeah, no, thank you. That was a really good question. You're definitely thinking about efficiency there. All right. So now you know that you can do that. You could do it by user group as well. But again, that requires the teachers to do it on that side then. All right. If you came in here and you didn't see start and target date, but you want to see it, there is a settings icon up here at the top. That allows you to view only what you want to view. Okay. We're used in 100 different types of implementation models, so some of our schools want to see like relative grade and actual grade. If you're not interested in that, keep those selected off. Definitely keep start and target date on there. And that just lets you keep a second eye on that. Okay, that
Okay,
is.
so
Yeah.
if you were teaching this earth science class and you have all of your students who are this allows you to be able to see the students in alphabetical order, and then you can go over and you can look at their progress and their overall grades. So
Yeah.
overall grade is the one that we're going to import to SIS, right, Keith?
I'm sorry, repeat that, please.
The overall grade is the one